Welcome to my channel, and I'm back with you once again with another video of Microsoft Flight Simulator 24. Nowadays I'm exploring the Cessna 172, and in this regard I'm making a series of videos which are available on my channel. In those videos I've covered the flight planning part, plus how to start this plane and then flying this plane on autopilot, ILS approach and landing. So while making this video, I'm keeping this thing in mind that you know how to fly this plane, you are familiar with all the procedures, and plus you can perform an ILS approach and landing. In this video, I'm going to tell you how to perform an RNP approach and then land the plane. Now, while talking about approaches and landings, there are two different types. If you talk about a high-level bifurcation, the first one is a precision approach and the second one is a non-precision approach. ILS is a precision approach in which a ground-based localizer is used, which emits radio frequencies. The planes pick it up and they just land. It's really precise and the precision is really good. Depending upon the equipment that the plane has, it can be really precise. So in low visibility, you can even just go for it. Even if visually you cannot see the runway, you're properly aligned with the runway and you can land it. Then there are non-precision approaches, and majorly there are two. One is the RNP approach or the RNAV approach, and another one is the VR approach. So in this video, I will talk about the RNP approach. It is also called the RNAV approach. These two terms are actually interchangeable. RNAV stands for area navigation and RNP stands for required navigational precision. So RNAV is actually very simple. When you are following the GPS coordinates, you are doing an RNAV approach. And RNP is actually more precise in talking in terms of precision. RNP emphasizes on precision. So your GPS device or the flight tracking device that your plane has should be really precise. If it's not precise, then there are chances you will miss the runway. So that's why it's known as the RNP approach. Now, during the course of this video, I will explain more things to you, but first of all, let's make a flight plan. Today, I will be doing the short flight from Sialkot to Islamabad, and at Islamabad, I will be landing at runway 28 right, and that will be an RNP approach. So first of all, let's get the tab, and let's start the flight planning. Let's go to this page, the flight planning page, and let's open this. So my departure is Sialkot International Airport. It's a short flight, roughly for 1 hour. And I'm already at runway 22. And then for the arrival, I am going to land at Islamabad International Airport. Runway 28 right is automatically selected. Now for the procedure, we have to change the procedure. Right now, you can see ILS 28 right Y is already selected. Just click this. And then you will see multiple approaches coming, direct for visual landing. Then you have VOR. I will make a separate video for that. And then you have RNAV. So RNAV or the RNP approach. So let's select this RNAV approach. Now it is asking for transition. Now I can select a transition, but it will take me somewhere here. Somewhere here, and then I'll just go back. So instead of selecting a transition, Isdor or Kalmi is actually on the other side. And this is Isdor. So I'll just go with this. And I will change the procedure. Now the procedure is change. And plus for the arrival procedure, I will also not use it. I'll just go directly towards this point Phoenix and land. Because let's say if I select an arrival procedure, as I told you before, so the plane will go here and then it will go here. It will be a long flight. So I will be going directly towards Phoenix. So it's really simple. What I'm going to do is this. Just to begin with, for the approach, runway 28 right, just select the approach and you can see the RNP is coming 28 right. So if I select this, let's wait for it. And now we have the chart. Let me just also change the layout. So that we can read the chart clearly. Now this RNB approach plate is just like the ILS approach plate. So now you're seeing that there is this initial approach fix coming, which is IAF ISDR. So from here the approach actually starts, but I'm flying directly towards it. You can just do anything that you want. It's a flight simulator. So now what will happen is this, that in this approach plate, the plane actually follows all the GPS coordinates, and it will take you to this point, Renux. Now, as you can see, the Garmin G1000 actually interacts with the flight management guidance system, which is FMGS of the plane. So once it knows that the plane is at this point, and then from here it has to descend towards the runway. This is known as the glide path. If you talk about ILS, this is glide slope, and in RNP they call it the glide path. So it knows it has to follow the glide path, heading 278, and there is a specific descent rate that will be calculated by the G1000. So it will start to descend towards the runway. And if your GPS is really precise, it will be aligned with the runway. So no ground-based device is used to basically guide the plane towards the runway. So if you're really familiar with ILS approach and landing, you will be able to do it. There is just one little trick that you have to do, and you can land this plane. So now I'm going to take this plane up in the air, and as soon as I'm near Renux, I'll just take you from there. Now the plane is near the Islamabad International Airport. So just let's go through a few things before we proceed towards the final approach fix and then the landing. So if you look at the navigation display, you'll find this option flight plan. And in the flight plan, you're seeing all the waypoints or the fixes before the landing. And plus your vertical speed or the VRAM profile is also coming. You have to be IS410. At this point, you should be at 3,700 feet. And the top of descent is roughly 18 minutes away. It's here, and you have to start your descent. And then the vertical speed target is 627. I can start the descent by adjusting the altitude over here to 3,700. So let's reduce the altitude. But right now the descent will not start because I haven't done anything. In order to start the descent, I have three options. Either I can use vertical speed, I can use flight level change, and then there is this magic button which is VRAM. So if I press this, then the plane will automatically follow this vertical speed target, and it will descend to 3,700 feet. But for this, I have to reduce the throttle. That's it. Then you can see this is another point, IS410. This is the final approach fix. That's why it's coming as FAF. If you look over here, you will see OPIS RNAV, which is required navigation. Area navigation. Because I'm going for an RNP approach, that's why I read this. RNAV GPS. So it's up. Then runway 28 right, LNAV and VNAV. LNAV is your lateral navigation, and VNAV is your vertical navigation. As I've told you before, once you are doing this GPS navigation, you're basically performing an RNAV and area navigation based on the GPS coordinates. So that's why the GPS system will be used. So the plane will know, okay, at this point, these are the GPS coordinates, and this is the name of this GPS coordinate that it is flying to, at what altitude the plane should be at, what is the speed, and the flight management guidance system do all the calculations and give you the descent rate, and then you just go towards the runway, which is runway 28 right. And while performing an RNP approach, LNAV and VNAV profiles are used instead of ILS or localizer. So it will just do everything according to that. There is another thing that you have to do is this, adjust the altimeter. If you see the barometric pressure is coming, it's 1013. What I'll do is this, I will just go to Sialkot and in the weather, Islamabad. I'm going to land Islamabad. So I'll go to weather and I will check what is the barometric pressure, 1015. Remember this thing that obviously you have to adjust your altimeter even if you're performing an ILS approach or a VOR approach. You should have proper reading of the altitude by adjusting the barometric pressure, because this plane calculates the altitude based on the change in barometric pressure. So that's why you have to adjust the barometric pressure in order to have right and accurate altitude landings. Now, if you talk about ILS, ILS is actually on the ground, and it tells the plane by picking up the radio frequencies that where the localizer is and what is the descent profile. But while doing a GPS approach, you're using the RNP approach, using your GPS in the plane. The plane actually, let me just open this for you. 28 right, and I'll go for this RNP. Now at different points the plane has to be at different altitude. So let's say at this point the plane has to be at 3700. So if your altimeter readings are not correct, so your altimeter will show you 3700, but as per the barometric pressure, as like it is set as per 1013, so you might be up or below this profile, and once you start the descent you might miss the runway. So that's why it has to be really accurate. So you have to get the right readings for the barometric pressure. You can change it over here. I have already covered it in one of the videos, just to tell you right now that if the different units are coming, you can always change it. Go to the primary flight display options, and over here you will see altitude units. So this is right now in HPA, and you can change it to inches. So it's 29.2 or 1013, and you can use it by moving this knob, the outer knob, 1015. Now the altitude is adjusted. So just make sure before the RNP approach your altimeter is adjusted. Now I will just wait for the top of descent to come, and as soon as the top of descent is near, I will reduce the throttle, bring the speed to 85. As you can see, this limit is coming, so will not go below this speed. I'll just reduce the speed. Once I'm over here, I will press this VRAM, and then the plane will actually follow this vertical path towards this point RNAV, because at RNAV my altitude should be 5,006 feet, which is like 5,000 plus. So that's why I will it will just first of all adjust at 5,000, and then it will go to 3,700. We will see, and if it doesn't, then we will adjust the vertical path either using the FLC or the vertical speed. So in this video I'm also going to tell you how to basically handle all this. Now as you can see that there is just a little time left for the top of descent, so I will now reduce the thrust and reduce the speed. Still have some time. You can see the top of descent is coming over here. Now you must have observed something, that just like the ILS indicator over here, you have started to see this G with the diamond. This is actually the LNAV and VNAV profile, as you can see. So without tuning into the localizer, without doing anything, this has automatically started to appear. So this is the magic of the RNP approach. So I've reduced the thrust so that I can activate VNAV. Let's see if the plane follows the VNAV path. If it doesn't, then I will go for flight level change or maybe vertical speed. Now the speed is reducing. Always remember, before the approach, do all the maneuvers at lower speed, because then it's easy to control the plane. 22 seconds to go. As you can see, it's coming. Vertical deviation is also coming. I will just explain everything to you right now. Let's press this RNAV button. You can see V path is coming, and it should start following. Interestingly, the descent has started now. You can see the plane has started to go down, and you can see the target vertical path is coming. The flight management guidance system has actually calculated that what should be your vertical profile or the descent path, and it is trying to keep you over there. Now this is the vertical deviation. This is deviation of the plane from the vertical path. Right now it's just like 1 foot above the given vertical path, so it's good. And the angle is 3 degrees negative. It means it's going down, so it's good. You can see the speed is increasing, so I can further reduce the throttle. Now you can see this indicator has started to come, which is telling you either you are deviated from the track or not, or from the vertical path. Now, if you talk about Airbus or Boeing planes, the jet planes, you also see this kind of thing horizontally as well over here, which gives you the lateral alignment with the runway, and plus this gives you the horizontal, the vertical alignment with the runway. But over here, you can see the CDI is coming, which will actually tell you about your lateral navigation. Either you align with the runway or not, and this is your vertical. Now, while performing this RNP approach, you should have a good RVR, which is known as the runway visual range. If you cannot see the runway, then it gets very difficult, because till the last point you don't know whether you align with the runway. If you cannot see the runway, obviously you'll not know the alignment. So that's why even if your GPS is very accurate and you're picking up some good signals, but still you cannot see the runway, then it's kind of a dangerous thing if you attempt to land the plane. So that's why you should have a good runway visual range. As you can see right now, I'm flying in clear skies just to show you for this video. So that's why you can see the runway, and you can see the PAPI lights are also there. Now everything is good. I can further reduce the speed. Now at this point, what I can do is this. As you can see, I'm now aligned with the runway. The runway is near, and this is in the middle, so it means I can follow this flight path. So instead of now using VPAF, I can simply activate approach the way you use it in the ILS. If I press this button, approach, now you will see this diamond has started to appear just like the ILS, and now the plane will actually try to keep this in the middle, or the flight management guidance system. Let's start reducing the speed, and let's start to get the flaps down. I will go with the full flaps landing. Keep it at 65. Just keep on adjusting the throttle in such a way that the speed doesn't reduce drastically. Now, as you can see, the plane is out of the V path mode. If you look at the FMA, it's in the glide path mode and GPS. So your lateral navigation is coming over here. Any deviation from the runway left or right, it will just be shown over here. And whether you are following the glide path or not, it's coming over here. If I look at this, now you will see the plane is really aligned, and it is following the glide path. As this is the glide path, as this diamond is in the middle. So everything is good now. Lights were already on, so I didn't turn off the lights. Anyhow, let's land it. Today I will be doing another video for the VR approach. Now you can see the plane is making some little bit of adjustments just to keep this in the middle. The CDI needle, or the course deflection indicator needle. and everything is good. Can I further extend the flaps? Once you extend the flaps, increase the speed, because the flaps not only provide lift, they also provide drag. So you can see the speed reduces drastically. So that's why. Just make sure that you also adjust the throttle. So full flaps. And now a few days back, I just got a question from one of the viewers, then when to disconnect the autopilot. It's totally up to you. You can see the approach started from here. I was aligned with the runway. So that's why you can just deactivate the autopilot anytime that you want. There is another thing I just wanted to tell you, just an additional information. I can see if I can get this information. No, it's not coming over here, or not shown over here. What I can do is this. I can just move this and VOR. So let's see what is the VOR for BTR. Is the frequency. It is 114.6. So if I set 114.6 and set it over here, you can see it's picking up. Now what I can do is this. I can just go back and for the CDI, I can adjust the course. $278, and that's it. So generally what the pilots also do, also adjust this heading 278. Your core, this heading bug should be heading towards the runway, and you always set your heading bug in the direction in which you are landing, because if after the landing you want to fly again and fly in the heading mode, you have the proper heading. And another thing, they always tune into the VOR, the ground-based navigation device, the VOR somewhere here on the Islamabad International Airport. So that's why. Now its plane is actually in the roll mode. Let me take it in the nav mode. As you can see, I changed the CDI, so that's why the mode changed. Now the plane will align itself with the runway. So the VOR is somewhere over here. So if you were going for a VOR approach, you will not see these indicators, just like you see for the ILS and for this approach, the RNP approach. So in VOR, you just tune into VOR, and then you just go with the visual references for the landing. Now you can see plane is adjusting its course. So you always keep the VOR tuned as well, so that if your GPS doesn't work, you know where to go. So this is one kind of a tip I just wanted to give to you. Now if I deactivate the autopilot, I'll just try to keep it in the middle, and this is also in the middle. The PAPI lights is showing all lights red as my altitude was low. Now it's getting a bit better. Now you can see it's in the middle, the CDI needle. So it means I'm following the LENOVO path. And this diamond is still not coming in the middle. So I'm just following these two things just to show you that how precise it can be if you're getting the good signals. Obviously in the flight simulator you get good signals. The signal issue is in the real life, due to bad weather, or now you can see 2 red and 2 white. It means I'm following the glide path, and now I can go for the landing. If all are red, it means I'm at a lower altitude, and if they're white, more white, 3 or 4 white, then it means I'm coming at a higher altitude. So now you can see I'm following this glide path. So it is precise. It just took me to the runway. And now I'm going to land this plane. My target zone for the touchdown. Just reduce the thrust. pitch up a bit, perform flare and idle thrust. And now I can apply brakes. So that's how you perform an RNP approach and landing. It can be different for the different airports. As a beginner, I would recommend to basically have a look at the approach plates a lot. Plus your arrival procedures, so that you're really familiar with the airport, the arrival procedures, and plus the approach. You should know that. So before flying, just do your study, do all the briefing, and then you can just easily fly these approaches. If you have got any questions, you can ask me in the comment section, or if you want to add anything to this video, the comment section is there for you. Nowadays, I'm getting lots of questions, so I'm just trying to answer them whenever I get time, and also recording these videos and editing them. So if there is a delay, kindly excuse me for that. Thank you very much for staying with me. Have a nice day. Hope to see you soon.